Okay, you ready?
No.
But you're good to go.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Layla.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with a story. In July 2010 in North Carolina, there was this 4-year-old girl named Tegan Skiba who was rushed to the hospital by her mom's boyfriend, Jonathan Richardson. He had claimed that she had been jumping on the bed and fell off and hit her head. But an investigation soon began when doctors realized that she had not only been raped, but had a blunt force head trauma, had bite marks and cuts and bruises all over her body. According to the Haven House website, officials stated that while her mom was training with Army Reserves, she had been sexually and physically assaulted, and then she had died 3 days after being admitted to the hospital. She was assaulted by her mom's boyfriend, Jonathan, and when he was caught, he smiled and said, "What are y'all gonna do? Tie me down and cut me up?" He got charged with felony child abuse, sexual offense, and kidnapping while Tegan died. So today I'll be talking about Child Protective Services and the problem with their whole system. There are two main problems. The first one is that out of the several thousand reported abuses each year, only a certain number of them are investigated, and from that, only a number of them that are investigated by CPS actually have action taken. Sheen states in the article Past, Present, and Future Roles of CPS, published in 1999, that the number reported is 37.5%, and that number is increasing. The government spending of Child Protective Services is limited, and they're the only contributors to the funds that they get. And because of this limited spending, they have limited resources and a limited number of social workers, which means that several of the cases that are reported go uninvestigated at all. The second problem is that in the article Structured Risk Assessment Procedures, Saunders states that when CPS investigates a home, they only talk to the parents. Very few times do they ever talk to further family members, and they talk to the child, which means that they're going off of limited knowledge, which gives limited evidence, which leads to a persistent error and misjudgments. In the article Avoidable and Unavoidable Mistakes in Child Protective Work, published by the British Journal of Social Work in 1996, Monroe states, misjudgments about clients that may have been unavoidable on the limited knowledge available when they were made continue to be accepted despite a growing body of evidence against them. This is the persistent error that is made. So how do we fix it? It's actually fairly simple. If we increase the government spending, then we increase the amount of investigations, which means that more children can be taken out of their abusive homes, which leads to less child death. Also, we can solve the second problem by solving the first problem, because there will be more resources to investigate. This means that they can spend more time investigating, which means they can talk to not only the family and the parents and the children, but their friends, their teachers, their neighbors, people who might have heard about this abuse or have some sort of hint that there may be abuse going on, but aren't afraid to say it, because children are also often afraid to speak up. So if we solve this problem, the article The Long-Term Impact of Physical, Emotional, and Sexual Abuse of Children, published in 1996 by the European Psychiatry author Millen, shares that this will decrease mental health issues, sexual relationship difficulties in the abused child's adult life. And Heron Cole also claims in her article regarding the effects of abuse that during the child's life, while they're children, This will decrease their substance use, physical health problems, and developmental consequences. Edelson explains in his article, The Cycle of Violence, published in the Encyclopedia of Interpersonal Violence, that there will also be a decrease in crime rates, including homicide. Because when these children grow up, they often end up with some sort of emotional or mental disorder and detached personalities from other people. They're not able to form relationships, which increases homicide rates. So their crime rates will decrease. So this is just a chart showing abuse statistics of children. As you can see, they haven't really decreased in the past few years. If anything, some of them have increased and whatnot, but they stay pretty much stagnant. So my main point that I'm trying to make is that there's a 2-year-old's gravestone with his or her name on it because they were defenseless and couldn't help themselves when they were being abused. So they died. 5 to 6 children die daily because of abuse, whether it be the parent that's abusing them or someone else that they know, but 5 to 6 children die daily, whether it be from the abuse or because they couldn't handle the abuse, so they committed suicide. So my call to action is to shatter the silence. If I can hopefully influence about 30 other people that this is a problem, and each one of you goes out and influences 30 other people, and each one of them goes out and influences 30 other people, then we would soon enough have public interest and pressure from the public on the government to increase their spending, whether it be increasing it by 2% or more. Then we would have an increasing, growing number. We would have increasing funds, which increases investigations and ultimately decreases the amount of abuse going on in homes.